Hi, and welcome to another Scientology Outside of the Church podcast. This is season 11, episode 32 already. It's Sunday, September 14th, 2025. And I'm here with Arthur and Quentin. And this is episode 3 of this week. This is brought to you by ao-gp.org and the College of Independent Scientology.com, our online course room and social media platform with our AI on both sites, where you can go and have a conversation with Finn, our handy dandy little AI, or you can get on our Oracle AI, which is what we use to create these podcasts along with Finn, and ask any question you want. And boy, people use it all the time, let me tell you. And it's just amazing. So to get going, we are going to call this episode How to Change Your Reality Forever. That's the working title. I'm not making any promises here. We're not, but that's what we're thinking it's going to be by the time we get the artwork done for it. And it's bright and early in the morning here in the middle of the afternoon where Quentin and Arthur are. So we're going to get rolling. So, how do we change our reality forever, especially with what's going on here on planet Earth and the dramatizations that we are seeing worldwide? There's a lot going on, and a lot of it is not terribly theta. So, Quentin came up with this 1954. It's from the, was it fifth ACC Advanced Clinical Course?
Or the ACCs, yep.
So let's get rolling on this. What's the story with and the ACC lecture title is, and I'll post the transcripts on YouTube when we get done here, and any other references. Always from now on, all of the references that we mentioned will be in the comments on YouTube that you can download and have as a PDF
For
or
yourself.
read. Yeah, it takes a lot of work, but it's well worth it for our listeners. And the title of this is Universe Processes Experience. It's from the Advanced Clinical Course, number 5, Lecture 8, April 8th, 1954, which is about a year after the one we mentioned yesterday in our podcast. So, how do you change your reality?
Well, I think the first thing is really starting out understanding what our perceived reality really consists of, right? And I think we talked about it yesterday where we said that it is your universe, others' universes, and then the shared universe, right? What we call the mess universe. And so, your universe, as you are right now, sitting there listening to this podcast, whatever's going on around you, whatever your experience is, whatever your life is, that's your universe. I have my own universe. Jonathan has his own. Art has his own. And then we have a shared universe that we get to kind of play in and experience things in with each other. And so we're kind of living as our own universe, in and as our own universe, bumping into other people's universes within this shared larger universe, as it were, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're saying now, you stepped on my shoe, you know, or whatever. And that becomes a problem in society because people go around stepping on folks' shoes and things.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we're looking at then is all these universes bumping into each other, and then you wonder why there's so much social unrest.
Right. Well, it all comes down to shared agreement. Shared agreement. Did you see what happened? And we were talking about this before the podcast. Arthur, what was it you said? It was, what was it that was all over Instagram?
Like around Charlie Kirk and this poor lady that got stabbed on the bus.
Right.
Oh, on the train.
On the train, yeah, on a subway
Yep,
train. And then these things are propagated out there. Look what happened. Look what happened. We were
yep,
talking about this yesterday. Yet Dayton chooses to be restimulated. So I've had people say, check this out. Look at this Instagram post. Look at this TikTok post. Look at this Facebook post. And
Yeah.
I said, I don't need that image. I don't need that video. I don't need to
I
see
still ain't
that.
seen it. I
Yeah,
don't even know what y'all talking about.
I've seen an image prior to the actual overt act that occurred that this girl lost her life
Mm,
because of. But I refuse to accept an image that will restimulate me.
hmm
I don't need that. I made the mistake many years ago. Somebody shared a beheading with me.
Wow.
A
What?
beheading. Yeah, it was a Mexican
Yeah.
cartel beheading of a woman who was so heavily drugged. Her heart was beating so slow she barely bled out at all. And I mean, and I wish I'd never watched it. And
My
from that
God.
point on, I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I don't need to do this anymore. And I thought, okay. And that's been my policy. I don't need to see this. If somebody wants to say in text, this happened, or a description of what happened, okay, that's still, it's not I don't need to know. I'm not going to do that
hmm
because you have to go, okay, they're pushing this button. They're pushing this button. And the button that they're pushing is how bad things really are. And we're going to get into the actual subject matter of the lecture, but we're talking about this in a modern context. Go ahead, Quentin. You're
Which,
giggling.
well, which also brings us back to what we talked about recently, and art is in the process of this with pro TRs and objectives, and it's like they're pushing this button. But one of the great things about doing your TRs and having your TRs in is that you actually get a chance to flatten a lot of buttons, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so one cannot be easily pushed around if one is able to be there and be comfortable in the universe without having buttons be pushed or not be able to be pushed in certain ways. And so I think it's really
Mm.
interesting. That pro TRs kind of comes up again in all of this.
It really is. And the way this carries over here is what we're trying to say is we do these podcasts and we mention that you need to get auditing, you need to get training, but especially now from my viewpoint, from a KRC, knowledge, responsibility, and control viewpoint, is we need to make our subscribers, our listeners, aware of what it is that is going on, and you need to rise above it, that which is
Yeah.
going on. That is the point, is that it used to be it used to be long, long ago, and I'm talking hundreds of years ago, that the only way people got news was verbally, before the printing press, before the internet. And the only
Yeah.
information you got was a decree from whoever the wealthy landowner was, generally a king or a duke or whatever, depending on where you're at in the world. Somebody who owned land and said, okay, this is what's going to happen, this is what you have to do. And this, from the Mongols to Europe, you know every society had this, and things are said in order to get a desired result. And LRH says that emotion is used to get a desired result.
Yep.
Okay.
Dialing up the emotion.
Right. And how do you dial up the emotion? Is you say, well, we're going to say this to the peasants. Okay, well, that's going to get them to do something else. And this goes back to Machiavellian theory, which was an Italian prince who owned a lot of land in several cities in Italy. And what he would do is he would third party, and we'll put this up on YouTube. It's going to take me forever for all the things we're mentioning, but he would third party one city against another city. He'd say, do you know that what this city is doing? You guys need to do something about this. This is pretty dangerous. And they'd be like, what? Well, we've got to rise up and we need to attack those people because, well, it's our survival. They can't have our crops. Da, 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 da. And he'd go to the other city and say, did you know what they're doing? And they're saying, and the third party is just that. It's an unseen influence
Mm.
by both parties. Okay. Now, what Quentin was saying at the beginning of the podcast in the axioms about there's your universe, the universe of others, and agreed universe. Okay. And what you're seeing currently is the same Machiavellian theory, plain and simple. I don't know that LRH has mentioned it, but I'll put a link to it in the YouTube comments as well, so that you can look this up yourself. Don't take my word for it. But the thing is it creates division, and when it creates division, you're trying to create another universe that people will agree upon, and that's what this lecture is about. Now, LRH says in this lecture, and feel free to jump in, guys, if I'm stealing the mic
Mhm.
here. LRH says, what are the factors, the aberative factors of life? Is life itself completely aberative? Is there any way to, you might say, beat it? Is there any way to lick this thing called life? Well, that's quite a thing to undertake, really. All in a few minutes, sit down with some pre-clear and go bang, 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 and he feels better. Remember, this individual, at least so far as we can trace on an e-meter, has been about 76 trillion years on a time track. And if you're wanting to hear a lecture on time track, this is a great one. He's had experience after experience after experience after experience. He's been through things they wouldn't dare film or describe anywhere. And yet we have the total conceit of, in using a few words, of attempting to resolve his wobbliness, his inabilities, his incapacities, which have resulted from these experiences. Now, just look at that a moment, he says. That's quite a thing to do. It's even imprudent to fly in the face of all existence. Sit down with somebody and say, yep, 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 yep. And this other person says, so and so and so and so. And all of a sudden they feel better about existence. Well, to envision the fact this could be done would have to be a pretty mighty vision, anyhow. But the truth of the matter is, it can be done. It is being done. So he goes on to say, now we have a totally mechanical problem confronting us when we look at a pre-clear. When I say we have a totally mechanical problem, it's all because this is wrong with what it's because all this is wrong with him is mechanical. What is wrong with him is the mechanical aspect of existence. The individual has become dependent upon the mechanics of existence to carry him forward
Right.
somehow or another to some unknown destination he knows not what of. This is the way he looks at it. He's totally dependent upon a society, a civilization, upon a body, upon his eyesight, upon his charm, personality, his education. And somehow or another, he's going to manage to get through by doing what? By being
Mm.
totally dependent in all directions and self determined on almost none.
Mm. Ain't that something? And,
Mm.
so he goes through life thinking that these mechanics of life, the trappings of life, as we call it, is life itself, is the stuff of life. And the truth of the is that you've had the power all along, Dorothy. Life is in you
Mm-hmm.
right now,
Mm-hmm.
and it's you that are able, or that's able to create life to your specifications. And I like it from that perspective, that I'm creating life to my specs, my specifications. And I say it all the
Mm.
time: the higher standards, the better your life, because I now specify what it is that gets to be in my experience.
Right. And that comes down to, what is it that you're agreeing with on the third and fourth dynamic
Right.
as it affects your first dynamic?
Hmm.
Be-
Or I would say even disagreeing with too, because it's interesting, because the things that we find deplorable or disagreeable or uh, uh, um, heinous, you know, we tend to look at it longer sometimes, like a train wreck, or a car crash, and
Mm-hmm.
you're going down the road, and it's like your whole head turns around, your whole neck turns around looking at the car crash. But that's the thing that we find the most heinous. But
Mm-hmm.
we give that more attention. Mm,
Right. Now, LRH goes on to say, he says, well, the funny part of it is he can't do anything else. It's utterly impossible for this pre-clear, you as a Thetan, to do anything but survive. You can't kill a Thetan. The artificiality is that he may cease to survive. He believes that he can cease to survive. He has himself identified with objects, the structure or form of which can be destroyed. He's identified with a body. A body can age or be killed or die, and so he conceives himself capable of aging or dying. Well, this is an identification with something that something can happen to. Nothing can happen to the pre-clear or Thetan.
right.
So you have to look at it and separate yourself out from I gotta survive, I gotta survive, I gotta survive to I can survive.
Mm.
I I can't help but survive, and everything I'm doing is to experience greater survival. And this is why I say I never worry about money. Like I never worry about money because I can survive. And that we said this in the last podcast as well, is that the value and the worth is within you. You are your own currency, and God, the currency of ideas are the currency of gods. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you find yourself lacking funds, come up with a new currency, a new idea,
Mm-hmm.
right? Ideas are the currency of gods. And so we get into this world where we think that these trappings are the thing that makes us survive better, and it's not. It's not. And it's such an inverted flow. Now I like nice stuff as much as the next guy. Okay. I like nice things as much as this guy, but I like it to be something that this is the word I use. Y'all don't gotta use this word, but something that I conjure into my experience,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Well, you
And
put
and
it
it
there.
and it be yeah, yeah. I put it there, and if you really break down the word, it means with play, conjure, which means to play, and so I bring it about with play,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's almost like a game. It's almost whimsical. It's almost a poetic, sing-songy kind of thing where you conjure and you bring things in with play, and you make
Mm-hmm.
it so that this now becomes the new game that I want to play. I want to play a new
Right.
card game. Okay.
Right. And the LRH has a quote about the spirit of play, which I'll post on YouTube as well. And that's where you should
Mm,
be at is in games on the tone scale. Now,
yes.
this is the last bit here about this first stage, what we're going to talk about here in the podcast. LRH says processing works because the apparent solidity of the messed universe, matter, energy, space, and time, the physical universe that you find yourself in while you're listening to this podcast, is the messed universe. He says it's ultimately, and we might want to clear this up for people, chimerical. What's the definition of chimerical?
I got it right here. Chimerical means existing only as a product of unchecked imagination. So something that exists only as a product of unchecked imagination. So the per LRH, the material universe, the mess universe, exists only as a product of unchecked imagination.
So, if we were to use chimerical in a sentence for our listeners,
Um, let's see. Um,
Oh.
Jonathan told me a chimerical story about when he sold 1 million widgets on the corner of Main and Fifth Street.
I'm
good.
living a chimerical experience.
Yes.
Yeah, in the physical universe. So I'll repeat what the idea is here again. What he says is processing works because the apparent solidity of the messed or the physical universe is ultimately chimerical, allowing cases to be resolved by addressing thought and postulates rather than matter.
Mm.
Let that sink
Because
in.
initially we want to change our matter, don't we? We believe the matter around us is the issue.
Right, right. So somebody
Right,
comes to me and says, "Well, I want to earn more money."
right.
I get that all the time. All the time. I
Yep.
want to earn more money. Okay, so we don't need to address money.
Yeah. Let's talk
Yeah,
about your
yeah,
thoughts and
yeah.
postulates.
Right,
And
exactly.
he says here, it is chimerical no matter what its great, massive magnificence is. It is totally chimerical. Totally. I think this is interesting. Only if it were totally chimerical could you ever resolve a case. If it really did possess the tremendous solidity that it pretends to possess, you would never resolve a case. And so if think about it this, if life were really as hard as we have been tricked to believe by life, by the mess universe, right? If this stuff was really as solid as we've been tricked to believe, it would be unresolvable. It'll be a unresolvable condition. And that's how it
Mm.
feels to a lot of people. That's how it feels to a lot of people, that it's like this unresolvable massive thing. And so they'll go throughout life either super depressed, super anxious, avoiding things, sometimes even taking themselves, unaliving themselves because they think that life cannot be resolved. But the truth of the matter is, it's totally chimerical.
Mhm. he says
Mm.
he says here a little further on, so it's odd that the business of livingness itself is not a process unless it is immediately and intimately coupled with thinkingness, which is to say thought itself. If you couple livingness with thought, it becomes more livable. But if you address thought, the impulse to create, the impulse to destroy, the ability of the individual to make postulates, why then and there, and only then and there, are you able to resolve a case? You are dealing with a problem wherein all the solidities are actually chimerical and where the only actuality really has no mass, no space, no energy connected with it, and no time.
Right.
So
Mm.
changing your reality, that it becomes down to that true change occurs at the level of thought and postulate, not merely by adjusting your external physical universe conditions. Livingness alone is not a process unless joined with thinkingness. You, as a thetan, do not age, though it often identifies with the body. And that's the thing, is you have to
Hmm.
stop identifying with the physical universe. I saw this in the news. I did this happened. Did you see what happened to Charlie Kirk? Did you see that? See that horrible, awful video? I got oh my god! And now you're stimulated, and you're making postulates off of a push button
There's that.
reaction,
Right.
reactivity, and that is the point of this podcast: is how do you change your own reality? What is it that you're agreeing to and making postulates off of? Are you the dog that's being wagged and not the tail? And that's what's really
That's a
what it.
hard question to answer, really, because like, the moment you jump on social, I mean, it's all around us. How do you avoid it, or how do you reach such a certain space where there's complete understanding around it and you're not affected by it? That's a big thing. That's not a small thing because it's in our face 24/7.
Well,
Well, I think. Mhm. Go ahead, John.
no, that's okay. Go ahead, Gwen.
Well, I think that there's this beautiful aspect of who we are as beings where we can kind of reach this serenity of beingness, right? And we can kind of be in this world, but not of this world. Is kind of how scripture refers to it. Where it's like you can be in the world, but not of it. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm existing and I continue to survive and exist because I have no, other of that.
Mm-hmm.
And and as the world goes by, I was just talking to one of my spiritual teachers recently, and I said, I've postulated I'm going to live to be at least 118 years old. And he was like, why 118? I said, well, because I wanted to live to see the year 2100. I was born in 1982. I want to live to see the year 2100, which is 118 years. And He was like, well, why that? And I said, well, because I'm fascinated with all the stuff that's going to be happening with technology and flying cars and going to different whatever the case may be, right? I'm just super fascinated by it. And I said, and I've postulated this, and every thought, right? And those who know me, but every thought that is contrary to that is not a thing. Like it's no thing. It's
Hmm.
nothing,
Hmm.
right? And it's just an interesting way of surviving even with a body, because there's this always, I guess, this thought that the body can break down and the body can die and the body gets riddled with all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not me. That's just not my experience. And I've lived this way my entire life, despite you know attempts to take me out, despite car accidents, despite diagnosis, despite conversations and everything. I've lived with this viewpoint my entire life, and I've now kind of wrapped it up into a whole big pretty bow of a centenarian life postulate that I want to live to be 100 plus. And so,
In a
yeah,
in a
it's,
bo-
it's
in a body. Let's make that very clear. A
correct, right,
Thetan
right.
in the
With
body.
with a
Yep.
body,
Yep,
right?
yep.
With this body, I want to live to be 100 plus with this body. And yeah, it's just and I don't see the stuff that seems to be contrary to that. In fact, when I pull up my social media, I see stuff on extending your telomeres, how to extend your telomeres so that you can live longer. I see stuff that comes up about how to incorporate certain technologies into your body. I know I'm about that. Jonathan don't like that though. Incorporating certain technologies and stuff to extend life using technology and being a Borg. But
Well, I mean, they're already they're making a lot of advances with things that they can do to improve the body's
right,
life extension so that you can still move around the messed universe and get things done and you're 100 that type of thing.
yes,
Truth is, if you weren't on this planet around a dirty sun and on a dirty planet radioactively, and there's a
right.
few other smaller factors. LRH mentioned this, and I can't post this particular quote. I'm sorry, but it would take me hours to find. But these bodies tend to last between 400 and 500 years
Mm.
in the proper circumstances.
I got a Honda body.
Right, right, right. 500,000 miles and it's still going.
And still ticking.
Just change the oil and it keeps on running.
Come on.
So LRH goes on to say that a Thetan does not age. And this is very true.
See, you
Uh,
just said it.
and the differentiation that we're trying to make here is that every single one of the people that I take in session who starts to go up the bridge and everything like that, they tend to identify with the body. And the thing that you need to do that LRH suggests is that at some point the person will go exterior in auditing.
Mm.
And when they go exterior, they're like, oh, I feel really odd, and I feel like I'm on a roller coaster right at the top, and I'm just wow. Okay, end of session. Right there, and that's what LRH says to do, and they go exterior and off. Now, the reason for this is that exteriorization demonstrates that survival extends beyond the body. But individuals get stuck on the create, survive, destroy curve and resist change because, well, I don't want to lose my body. I mean, this. It's like, I own this Honda and it's a great Honda, and I don't want to get rid of it. Well, you don't have to get rid of it. We just want you to make the identification that you are not your
Not your
body.
body.
Right.
Remember that movie? Dude, where's my car?
Right.
you go
Right.
you go
Right.
exterior. You're
And
like, dude, where's my car?
right. And so what we're doing with auditing is we're trying to shift a person, a being out of the fixed identifications by changing their postulates, reminding them that the essence of survival basically lies in the being, not the body. And what you see happening as far as your reality, on this planet is you're a body, you're a body, you're a body, you're a body. I must survive. You're a body. I must survive. And all the stuff that you see, and we'll get back to what Arthur was saying about how do you handle this pushing in of your anchor points. We talked about that. Yes, was it yesterday that we defined anchor points? I think it was.
Yep, yesterday.
Yes.
The pushing
Yes.
in your anchor points where you're like, feel great today, and you get on Instagram and you're, my God, look what's going on in the world. Oh my God. And then all of a sudden you feel a lot smaller because your anchor points have been brought in. Go take a walk, do a locational with someone, have them do okay, look at that tree. Thank you. Look at that cloud. Thank you. And you can do this yourself as well. You can just go for a walk and look at things near and far away and acknowledge yourself on it. And that now your anchor points start to go out, and your haviness increases, because what you're seeing in this society is a constant pushing in of anchor points, to where you feel that all you have to do is survive. I need to make more money. I need to make more money. I need to make more money. Hey, Jonathan, can you help me make more money? I need to get auditing. I need to make more money. Or it's, I'm miserable, but I have money. I need to be happy so I can enjoy my money. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on.
Mm,
It's your postulates that you need to change.
right. And LRH goes on to say here in the lecture, he says, now there's a process or two which depends upon living this. You can live a different way and be better off, but something's funny. Those are very limited processes. Those are extremely limited. They go, that is to say, to a very limited distance. All right, if your wife makes you unhappy, leave her and be happier. I mean, that's environmental processing. Doesn't mean the individual is really going to be any better off at all, does it? So it's odd. So it's odd that the business of living this upon itself is a process, unless it is immediately and intimately coupled with thinkingness, which is to say, thought itself. And so when we look at this, when we look at life, we're looking at it from this perspective that if I change my outer configuration, whether it be my bank account, whether it be my musculature, whether it be my, whatever the case may be, if I change my uh, environmental experience, then my inner self will be better to be able to be expressed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is some therapeutic value
Value.
in change of
Mm-hmm.
environment. Jonathan sitting by the beautiful ocean, seeing the whales jump up. That's beautiful. That makes you feel good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
A
you want to, but
non-restimulative environment is always a good thing, having nature and on
absolutely.
all of that stuff. But that's like putting for some, and I'm here not for therapy. It was just like, hey, this is really theta. I enjoy
Yes.
having a barbecue, literally, where I can barely hear myself think at high tide as the waves come crashing in, and oh, look, there's a whale spouting just beyond the waves. So
That's amazing.
that helps, but
Yes.
continue.
Well, no, I was going to say, and so there is some therapeutic value in change of environment, but the truth of the matter is, and even LRA says, it's a limited process, and it's limited as in distance. How far will this last? How far will this go? Because you know the storm comes, or the change of tide happens, or the situation shifts, and now it's like, oh my God, what do I do again? Right? What we're talking about is getting the being to a place where no matter where I am, no matter what condition I'm in, I'm able to be sound and solid and stable in my own experience. I'm able
Mhm.
to have serenity.
Right.
It's
Now,
beautiful.
and to circle back, Artie, to circle back, your question was, what do you do about these influences in your surroundings to prevent yourself from being push buttoned by problem, reaction, solution? that's going on in the media
Right.
today with all of the stuff, and I mean all of the stuff from Nepal to Utah to I'm not sure where the incident with the girl on the stabbing on the subway and all of this stuff, or Los Angeles or Chicago, or now it's Memphis, and troops are going to be going into Memphis to clean that town up, and all of this stuff. What can you do? Very simple. You can apply, wait for it, I'm going to drop the E word, the ethics condition of danger. Bum,
Dun, dun,
bum, bum.
dun.
You mean you mean be responsible? Do I have to be?
have have self, wait a minute, I'm going to drop it, the S and the D word, self-discipline.
Oh, come on. Too much effort.
It's too much effort, and that's
It's
the thing.
sacrilege.
It's
Right.
sacrilege. Now we're going to get back to the other part of this thing, but the thing is again, just like we said in the podcast yesterday about present time, you have to be responsible for that which restimulates you. You choose to be restimulated.
Yes.
You choose to be restimulated, because when you get restimulated by watching that video, by seeing that news report,
Mm,
you are going to make postulates that you would not otherwise make in this physical universe. Okay.
mm-hmm.
Because that's what the reactive mind does. It reacts. Oh my God, that's a reaction.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you apply a danger condition to that and you say, you know what, this is going to be hard, it's going to be really hard, I'm going to delete Instagram from my phone. That is applying a danger condition. You're bypassing habits and normal routines,
Yeah.
adopting
Or
firm
or or
policy as well.
I was gonna go right to that. Or adopt the firm policy that that stuff cannot come on my phone, and so I actually don't even see a lot of that stuff. I don't even see it.
Right. Because you can't be restimulated by something you choose not to be restimulated by, because the only reason you got restimulated by it is because you chose to be restimulated by it. Delete that app from your phone if you have to. Don't look at N theta. Period. Don't look at N theta. Now, I'm not saying you should go hide in a hole and be at the bottom of the tone scale. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what we're saying
No.
at all. But the thing is that you need to get on with the show. Now, LRH goes, and that's how you would handle that, is assign it a danger condition, delete the app, uh, delete Facebook, whatever you need to do. Don't watch the evening news, because I'm just telling
Oh
you,
God, please don't do that.
anything that you see in the media, and I'm sorry, this is almost, LRH says there's no such thing as an absolute, but the fact of the matter is that in the media, all you're going to get is what they want you to know. And that isn't the truth. That is an alter isness. It's an alteration of reality. Okay. And that's what this whole podcast is about, is we're trying to change your reality. Okay. Your reality. That's the most important thing. And if you change your reality by those things that are pushing you around, that shouldn't be pushing you around, because they're alter isnesses as to what's really going on, because LRH says in the data evaluators series, the correct why opens the door to a handling. Okay, so if you're getting
Yeah.
restimulated, the why is stop restimulating yourself. Now, this brings us to back to the
Well,
lecture. Go
can,
ahead.
can, can I just say this real quick too? And what's beautiful about what we're saying is that changing your reality, changing your universe is the easiest part. It really is.
Mhm.
It's the what auditing. The reason why I think auditing is so beautiful is because, especially that we in independent Scientology work with remote auditing, is that you get to come in your office or in your room or whatever, sit at the computer, in your PJs, get on the cans, and get in session.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to start changing your reality, changing your universe that quickly, that
Mm-hmm.
easily.
Mm-hmm.
And you do it in such a way that when you come out of session and you walk out into the shared universe, the combined universe, the workaday world, that reality just changed. Get this. My 2D literally said that the whole relationship with father changed. Not because dad became a better person and stopped drinking,
Right.
right? But because I got in session and got some wins. And life then becomes better for it,
Right.
you know? And so I wanted to make that little caveat that when we say changing your reality, we're talking about the easiest part, right?
Right.
and
Right.
that makes it so much easier for you. Now, does it require confront? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Does it require a lot of persistence and push through? Sure, it does. Does it
Mm-hmm.
require you to deal with some stuff that you haven't dealt with for many, 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 many moons? Yes. But once you do it, it's the easiest thing that you have ever done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you
And
can
it's
do it.
interesting because it doesn't take that long to resolve something that's been overrating you for 20 years, 50 years, 40 years. You spend
Right.
a couple hours, maybe more than a couple in certain situations, and then it never bothers you again, like for the rest of your life,
Right. It's just
Right.
ever.
gone. And that's the thing that LRH also says is if a Thetan knew it was wrong with him, it wouldn't be wrong with him.
Right.
It's not money that's the problem that you're trying to address. And we get this, I get this all the time. Fix my wife, please. It's not your wife.
Right.
It's never your wife. And it always ends up that I have to audit the other person. That's the funny thing is it's not the wife that needs the fixing. It's the person that's saying that their wife is the problem. Think about what I just said to our listeners. Okay. Now this comes down to what we're trying to do in auditing is we're trying to help the pre-clear disentangle themselves from the universe of others. This is what Quentin just said. Mama's universe, daddy's universe, where another person's postulates dominate. Okay.
Mhm.
So a pre-clear must be guided into an auditor's, my universe, for example, or Quentin's or Arthur's,
Mhm.
temporarily, creating a safe space, which is what we do, is we make a safe space where you're willing to talk to the auditor, you're interested in your own case. All right. From which to recover the PC's own postulate power. Okay. Daddy's the problem. Daddy's the problem. It's
No,
never
no,
daddy.
no.
It's never the wife. So through a process like where is mama safe, for example, in a session with a pre-clear, goes through extremes of hostility and destructive impulses, but eventually they reach indifference. Okay. And they have a freedom from fixation. And like we said, it's always terminals, 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 other people, other things. They get their attention unfixated from that terminal. And when you change your postulates about that terminal, and we were talking about valences yesterday as well, okay, contrary to their fears, the end result isn't a dangerous thing, an antisocial individual, but one more able to love, help, and interact sanely because now you can reach for that person, like in a potential trouble source, suppressive person, or somebody who reminds you of a suppressive person that's caused you to be somebody else. Now your reality has changed to where you're like, oh, it doesn't matter what mom and dad think. Because you
Yeah.
made postulates about that and you said, I can't go here anymore. And it's making me so unhappy. No, 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 no. You are making yourself unhappy.
Right.
That's how you change your reality. So that's the social side of things. So, if and to sort of bring this full circle, in the media today, for example, you're making postulates based off of some reaction to something that's been created for you to see. You follow? This is
Mm,
what's going on.
Mm.
So don't be restimulated by the things and recuse yourself from these things. And I'm not saying to stick your head in the sand like an ostrich here in Africa. What I am saying is that you do not have to be restimulated by this stuff if you choose not to be restimulated. Okay.
right.
So in this lecture, LRH talks about basically the goal of processing is to restore the individual's ability to make effective postulates in your own universe. In your own universe, because everything starts with you on the first dynamic. The first dynamic is you and or your body, and your survival as a thetan is guaranteed. Your body may not survive, but the thing is that you will. Don't worry about so much. Take care of your body, obviously, but get in session.
Yeah. Because that will take care of your body. Like
That's right.
I'm telling you what I know, not what I read out of a book. That will take care of your body. When you get in session and you start to clear some things up, like I'm talking about bunions, I'm talking about like physical things that are there, and you be like, why is this there? And you be like, oh, I know why it's there, and it is not there. physical physical things that are there, and you're wondering why is this there, and then you take a look and you see why it's there, and then it's not there.
Right. So the in summary, the this lecture, universe, processes, and experience, basically what LRH is talking about, and we'll put the transcript on YouTube again, is that the goal of auditing and of processing is restoring your ability to make effective postulates in your own universe. Your perception and exteriorization from the body to go, I am a Thetan, I have a whole track, I made these decisions and I can change my decisions, okay, is rooted in a lookingness, okay? It's the opposite of what you think that it is that we're saying here. There is lookingness, but lookingness means you have to confront what's going on in your decisions, your postulates, okay? Problems of occlusion, blind, or your blindness to whole track stem from being trapped in another's universe. Terminals, terminals, terminals. Okay, so by systematically guiding you in session into safe universes and out of enslaving ones, you recover your knowingness and your independent causation.
Wow.
Yeah. So the processing that you can get in session aims you in the direction of freeing you as a thetan to create, perceive, and direct your own existence, basically, without being overwhelmed by the postulates of others. Make sense?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the postulates of others are what it is that you take in and go, okay, I'm going to agree with that. That's the end of it right there. So if you don't get restimulated, you don't make silly postulates. Ah, this is a dangerous environment. Survive, survive, survive. Present time problem. I gotta survive. I gotta survive. I gotta survive. Look what everything is going on. You know, if you came down here to South Africa, for example, and you can do remote auditing all you want from the safeness, comfort of your home in your pajamas with us over Zoom and a theta meter, or you can come down here and you can sit on in one of the most beautiful places you can ever imagine, where you see dolphins and whales every day, have amazing meals, and go in session as much as you can possibly stand, and go outside and sit on the beach and find octopus and crabs and all kinds. You can go out spearfishing, you can go out snorkeling, whatever. Okay, and you can be in a theta environment and completely shut yourself off from all of this restimulation that's going on, all of the dramatization, everything you see in the media, is dramatization of one thing, the reactive mind of others.
Yep.
Do you agree with it or do you disagree with it? You make your own reality.
And do you want to be in their mind? I mean, think about this.
Right?
If, think about this. If you knew somebody was just aberrated and just had the wildest, craziest viewpoints on life, why do I want to be in your mind? Why do I really want to sit there and what's that saying? He who argues with the fool, who's the bigger fool? You
That's
know,
right.
it's
That's right.
like it's
Who is
like
the
no,
fool? The fool or the
who,
fool that follows him?
right. I'm not. I don't want to be a part of that world. Wish I could be part of your world. Nope.
Nope. Thanks. I don't
Thank
agree.
you.
Artie?
Did we lose
Sorry, I
him?
was off in another world then. I was just listening to you guys. You
Whose
caught me with
world
my
was
pants
it?
down, so to speak.
Come be in our world.
We have a podcast we did yesterday on present time.
Right. Yeah.
But that's fine. You have to think about things and go, oh, okay. But that's the whole point is that your reality is your created reality. Auditing helps improve that through releasing you from these agreed upon realities to where it's your reality, not something you agreed with someone or someone's else or somebody is telling, put your attention on because you need to survive. Dangerous environment, dangerous environment. You can be in the greatest environment of the world and come down here and stay on the beach and have great food, like I said, and have a theta environment, or you can do it from the comfort of your own home. Either
That's
way,
right.
but you need to feel safe. A PC has to be willing to talk to the auditor and interested in own case. If we have that, all we need and beyond that is a theta meter, a good internet connection, and then we can get you in session and we can allow you this short, brief period of time that you need to change your reality forever. And it happens quickly. The speed of processing is amazing. It doesn't take this long, 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 long time to de-aberrate a being. You are a thetan in a body. You are not the body. This whole dramatization on this planet is just that. It is a dramatization of the same dramatizations that have been going on for billions of years. Don't fall for it. That's the
Oh,
real
I
point
love
of
how
this
you said that.
podcast. Don't fall for it. This isn't the first time this has happened. It won't be the last, but that doesn't mean that you need to play that game. You don't.
And falling prey to it, whatever the machinations and the tricks and whatever else is going on, falling prey to it only puts you at effect, and you keep going lower and lower down the rabbit hole and wondering where's the bottom. There isn't one. There isn't one.
Right.
There's such lower and lower and lower depths that society, and those that are with this group think, this aberrative group think that they're dealing with, there's lower and lower depths that they're willing to sink to, that they're going to sink to, and this is our opportunity to be causative and put ourselves in a position where we don't have to go that route.
Right.
And I welcome you to it.
Yep. Artie, anything before we close this out?
The only way out is through.
That's right.
That's right.
Complexity and confronting policy letter applies. I'll post it on YouTube. Quentin, make a note of that for me, would you?
Right.
That which is complex. There's something there you're not confronting. How do I get in session? How do I do this? All right. What is it that is so complex? Oh, it's this. Okay. What are you not confronting about that?
Hmm.
Yep. So we hope this has been helpful. Don't believe what you're seeing and hearing in the media. Decide for yourself what's true, what's not true. Do your own due diligence. There's a huge, deep rabbit hole, and LRH has laid a path out to where It doesn't matter what's going on right now. It's just a dramatization. Get up the bridge and change yourself as a being permanently, permanently by getting in session, understanding the technology, take some courses. We've got specials that we can get you up the bridge for a mere fraction of what it would cost in corporate Church of Scientology. And we're using the original LRH technology, not altered technology. Boy, there's a lot of it in the COS. So for Quentin and myself and Arthur Medakis, namaste, and we love you. Bye-bye.